Yeah, Benny's here. You can ask him.
Oh,
I'm here.
What
what happened to Twitter? You were silent the whole time.
Really?
Did I not know how to do something? I joined it. I was
Was he
the first person
talking
to
the
join.
whole time?
No, it was playing up on different devices. Really? So could you hear Dave?
I didn't hear anything. It was silent the whole time. Oh,
Look, I love Gralex's comment. I heard the whole thing, just didn't know how to put my hand up. Did you hear me, Gralex, say there's probably people scrambling trying to find the hand up button?
Yeah, I was cursing trying to find that button. Really didn't find it at all. But I was looking, I was listening through the Google Chrome, not the app, so the web interface. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that if you were on the computer, if you're on a PC or Mac, you couldn't put your hand up, but you could on a phone.
I was like, guys, you're probably going to be looking for the hand up button, and I'll wait for you to do that. And then I was thinking, oh shit, I hope no one puts their hand up because I don't know how to actually deal with it when it does happen. So it was, we got there in the end though. But for those of you who joined, was it something that was worth your time as far as hearing from other people? Dave's wonderful, huh? Yeah, I think that you know, being customer experience people, you like to go out and sort of talk and help people and all the rest of it when you've got stuff that you can actually talk to and help people with. And I think that, you know, from the outside, it would look like we're not probably doing ourselves any justice by not actually explaining more about what it is that we're actually doing and what we're up to. But I think one of the big exercises that we've been through recently and we've learned is that sometimes waiting for things to be, you know, on the right track and moving in the right direction, it's better just to bite your tongue for a little bit, which is difficult for me. I want to get out there and go, guess what's happening? But yeah, Dave is epic. We've struggled. Being very, very honest, we've struggled with external parties. Pete, you've only been here for a year, but you've been here for long enough to be able to say that to be testament to that. We've had some 100%. Absolutely shite people that we've had to deal with, and to find someone that comes into the organisation who is very much aligned to our cultural values and our moral values. And as he said, he made a good point, which was good for us to hear as well. When they brought the activation, and we all know what that activation was, the NFT activation to us, as he stated, the other businesses that he'd talked to were looking for a bit of a cash grab. And we were the only ones that sort of sat down and said, let's do something for the longer term and how do we build together. I think that's something that we probably end up justifying too much of the things that don't go well, and we don't talk enough about the things that we are doing right, and that's part of messaging, right? So it's very important that we get our comms fixed, and that is happening. Quite informative. Not sure what the hesitancy was in naming Peter, but whatever. I think that's much more of a respect thing, mate. You've got to also understand that Dave deals with a lot of big brands, and you know, I've said this a million times to you guys that we've got to be careful on what we say unless the other parties say it, and I think that's just testimony to his character. He's just a polite guy, and he makes sure that he's doing the right thing. He's making sure that he's not naming names or implicating people or speaking on their behalf. So I think that's actually an admirable trait. Jumping in with a question straight away. Harambe launching on the NFT platform. Is there anything else behind this collab? Harambe seems to be presenting the collab as a partnership. I would say one thing that we did say in the AMAs and all the rest of it, and what we have said in the publications of late, is that we're going to start talking about some of the people that are coming forward and building in the metaverse space, and I think that's important to. Like a lot of people have said, who's there, who's building, why is it taking so long? Why are you not talking to us about that? But the fact is, again, blockchain companies move much faster than traditional companies, and we're starting to get to a point where finally the traditional companies will also start to come forward. So I think, again, tackled that right before that, PJ. I think it's much more of a situation of let us just roll these things out in conjunction. Benny, what plans are in place to grow the RFOX community? Lots, mate. The soft rebrand of My Media has happened to RFOX Media. So the proper changes and official communications and all the rest of it will start over the next week. I was asked, I think 2 weeks ago, how come it just suddenly changed? The reason it suddenly changed, I think it was on one of these AMA Discords that I answered, was because Facebook basically, they have 13 million plus followers on Facebook alone. And Facebook basically put you in a queue. And to change a brand that's that size, there's all these weird rules that Facebook have, like, do people object to it? Is there too many complaints about it? Do people think it's like some sort of weird spammy thing? But Facebook basically just came out and said, all right, we're doing it now. You've got a day to advise the entire user base, and if we get too many complaints, that's big trouble. So the guys were ready in the background, but we weren't given any notice, so they just sort of went bang. But that's the first part. The second part is we got 28,000 people signed up over the course of the Miss U. We got a ton of people. Obviously, Discord's been growing. We've got people coming in as far as little bits and pieces, but now, like I was saying on the Twitter, for those who missed it, we've got to be very mindful of the fact that as we press the button and say go, we've got to have clear comms, and we've got to have a clear funnel system for onboarding new users. And that's very convoluted at the moment, and our website basically doesn't really say what we actually currently do or where we're up to in our journey. So sort of banging pots and pans from the rooftop and saying, look at me, people are going to say, look, it's complicated, it's confusing. So the answer to your question is yes, we need to. A lot of people say to us, why don't you care about the token price? You should concentrate more on the token price. We have our development funds come from tokens as well. So the fact is that we do have, we do want to grow the community. We do want to add value. We do want to bring people in, and it's a matter of doing that right. How about plans of uniting the Discord and Telegram groups into one space? Hey, bring the entire community into the one space and not be so fragmented so we can grow. There's confusion about how to find the RFOX Discord group. So what have we said, Pete? I've got to be careful because it's getting bigger now, and it's harder to keep across all of that. So where are we up to with comms on that, Pete? Do we know?
Comms is almost ready to go out.
Okay.
Tech site is just, I think, one more detail away from finalizing it. Just one more thing.
So, Massive, you're going to get your wish, and very quickly. We said this on the Twitter Spaces, and it's right. The messaging's too fragmented. There's too many channels, and when there's too many channels and not enough users, you get confusion and miscommunication. So we are with you, mate, 100% on board and about to streamline all of that. And I want to swear, I want to say bad words, but this is recorded, probably played to people's children, put them to sleep at night, so I better not swear. Question that pops up a lot in the community: why can't you guys announce who is helping building the vault, the designers and the external companies, and which external marketing companies are being used? Well, it's not a matter of they're two separate things. So when it comes to agencies and companies that are helping us, I don't really think from the perspective of marketing and all the rest of it, I don't know what actual value it adds, to be honest. Like in the traditional spaces, you would never mention that. It's like having a team on a website. Like you just, I mean, it doesn't really happen. This is like all crypto stuff, because people think that if we, mention a marketing company that's worked with bigger marketing or bigger brands, that it'll cause some sort of a token pump or something like that. I mean, ultimately, it should be based on what the production is and how it works. But there's nothing stopping us from putting out a list of different companies we work with for marketing activations and stuff like that. But I just don't understand what it would do to help. Question a lot of us in here see the game as a crucial part of the journey to create the awareness, of course, especially before the new land sale as it gets eyes on us. Now we don't really feel active anymore. We will have this active soon due to technical issues like Apple approval, login system. We're afraid we'll miss all the momentum here. Well, what we're going to be doing is combining and streamlining some of the comms between games and the rest. So Fadz has joined us tonight. So it is an opportunity for Fadz to also answer some questions for you guys as well. But from an overall perspective, it is a crucial part, 100%. And it is vital for onboarding, and it's vital for bringing people into the community. And as far as traction for attracting new people in, it would be definitely the single biggest pathway, road or avenue in. So it is extremely important. I don't know if you want to jump in now, Fadz, or you want to wait till later.
Sure, I can jump in now.
Okay.
Related to games, I guess I do understand that it was a disconnect for us when we actually stopped closed beta, and then there was a gap between closed beta and open beta. Obviously, there was a lot of learnings from the players over the last month when we were doing it. So while it is inconvenient for some people to wait for us to progress to a point where we are comfortable releasing a build that is safe, will allow people to actually earn crypto and NFTs and be able to cash out. I think I just hope that our community can give us a bit of their patience as well, because this is a very like what Ben said, it's extremely critical that onboarding is done right and that the system is secure. All the issues regarding the app store and all this kind of stuff, these are all teething problems. It's not a showstopper. Sometimes things take a bit of time and they drag, but it's important to note at the end of the day, we are going to launch. It's not a matter of how, it's just a matter of when. And when we have all those things in place and the team believes that it's comfortable, everything's all right, then we will be able to onboard people rapidly and scale well.
Thank you, mate. Where will there be an RFOX Discord server, or will it merge the Kogs server? So, Joiner, we're looking. I don't know what's been said yet, so I'm trying to make sure I don't trip up on or say anything.
No,
we're trying to.
Yeah. The Chino pasted the new link. It's discord.gg/RFOX. Basically, it's just a quick update. The structure is already ready. It's just that you guys can't see it yet. So once we open the floodgates, then you'll get to see everything.
Chauncey, Discord server is down 100 people since last week, and booster pack sales are a fraction of what they were before. I think just again in relation to that one, I'd say give us a week or 10 days or something, and then I would say that I would say the answer to that question, quite simply put, is if nothing was being done about any of that stuff, yes, I would be worried, and I think it would be a concern. But the fact is that things are being done, and like I personally can't sit on my hands much longer. I want to get rolling, and I know the team do too. So we've got some pretty cool stuff that we've to deal with that. So not worried at all. It's an interim thing, and it's about to rapidly improve. Will Vault Beta be open for VR testers? If so, sign me up. We're going to do a competition phase where we're going to take a few people through. As far as how many people, I think it is kind of like a pretty cool. It's going to be kind of like a pretty cool privilege, and just with like Lenny that does the AMAs. he was able to come in and run around and do the interview and do the AMA from inside of the vault. And I'll be honest, we were like two little school kids running around, and Wade was in there as well, looking for Princess Kogs. And it's cool. We were like patting each other on the head, and it was very. I know most of you have probably done VR stuff before. If you haven't, you should. But the feeling of being in the same room with people that are across the other side of the world, it's a very interesting feeling. It's a super interesting feeling. And the first thing that I thought was, this is going to help a lot of people who feel really shut off and disconnected from the rest of the world at this particular point in time for whatever reason. And I think that makes me very, very happy. Very, very happy. Fadz, I've had a question for you, Fadz. Fadz, could you elaborate on the form iOS Koggers need to fill me, please? Ha! He's changed it. Fill in, please.
So are you talking about the form that was released by Games today, artist?
Yeah, he is.
So that the reason is because when you sign up via Apple ID, it does not give your exact email address. It's masked by Apple. So that email, we need to track it to make sure that when we transfer the coins to the mainnet wallet, it's the actual account and not some random account that you're going to sign up with again. So every time you sign up for something over Apple ID, they don't use your actual email address if you use that option. So when we go into open beta, you are going to make a mainnet account. So for closed beta, we're using a testnet. So you have to make a new RFOX ID on a mainnet account, and we have to make sure that it's you that is signing up and not another pseudo email that Apple is giving us.
Benny, you make the point of how surprised and excited we'll be when we find out information like this, e.g. who is building and designing the vault. Then today you say it doesn't mean anything. No, mate, I'm talking about marketing. There was two parts to that question. There was the marketing people that we're working with or companies we're working with. You always talk about, so that's completely different things. One is a group of people building the vault, and the second one is marketing companies that we deal with, like every company deals with. You always talk about transparency. I think the community, including myself, feels there are always so many secrets that are being promised and hyped, and then they just fizzle out. It's not me having a go, just making a point. No, understood. Some of the things are beyond our control, or some of the things that, in relation to secrets, they're not necessarily secrets. They're just things that we can't necessarily talk about. But like I said, a lot of those things, we said this tonight on the Twitter channel, sometimes we've jumped the gun a little bit I've jumped the gun a little bit because these things take a long time to come together. They could take 6 or 7 months worth of work or development before they drop. And I'm ready to go. I want to go. The team wants to go. We all want to move forwards, but then it takes a long time to, as Dave was saying tonight, political reasons or red tape internally or something that holds that up, and then that's why it would feel like it fizzles out. But the thing is that none of those things are going away. They're still there. They're still in the background. They're just not coming to the surface as fast as we would like. What was the aim and the goal of the Twitter AMA? How was the interaction on the Twitter AMA? Explosion of questions. Sorry, I missed it. So we've done an internal staff, like an employee opinion survey this week, and we're about to do an external opinion survey for the community. And some of the feedback that we've been getting is have a chat to Dave. Can we hear about more of, we know Void Cyber's doing some stuff with you, so can we have a chance to hear a little bit about who they are and what they do? So we thought Twitter Spaces was a good forum for that. So the idea of it was to just sort of start introducing you to the people that we work with or we deal with that are at the point ready for announcement or to talk about. So that's what that was about. What other issues are preventing CogSlam from being released into open beta?
Mostly making sure that the cash out is done properly. So there's no point us releasing the game if there's no cash up experience that is easy to use. Don't forget, if we're onboarding a lot of people, these people are not savvy at all. So we need to make the process for them to be able to earn RFOX or NFTs and be able to export them or cash them out as easily as possible. So what you take for granted in terms of MetaMask and all this kind of stuff, the people coming in, or the majority of the people coming in, may not necessarily have played NFT games before. So the user experience has to be as straightforward and as simple as possible. So that's why we brought in players like Renee into our team, because he will be the first hand be able to tell us whether or not our cash out experience is smooth or we need to improve it as well.
Thanks, mate. The current price floor of 35 cents of the Miss Universe NFTs is a very bad look considering it was your first launch on the new platform. Any concern that it will deter other projects from working with you, or any plan to try and increase that? So we have talked about that previously, in the sense that this is one of the reasons why we're also being very selective of who we work with or who we bring on. That was, as explained previously, the platform itself works smoothly, and there is also ongoing people coming in now to build on the platform. So no, I've got no issues with deterring it. It was a difficult contract based on the fact that we were hogtied due to the structure. So it caused a lot of pivots and deviations and all the rest of it. So I think that the main thing that we sort of took away from that is that we've got to be very, very selective of what we take and do and what we need from the clients that we work with, especially during the hand-holding period, until it gets to a point where we're able to move towards the grammar friendly and people can come in and service themselves. So what I'm basically saying is, if we're going to take time away from the team's resources and their capacity and their ability to be able to do other things, we have to make sure that it is going to be definitely worth the while. Now, since that has transpired, we have worked with the team in the Philippines to work out what it is that we can do going forwards to have a long-standing and successful relationship that benefits both parties and makes sure that we've got increased utility and a chance to do some more work together. So it hasn't always been clear, but we're getting there. Were we able to funnel new people from the AMA into Discord? Is that something we plan to do in the future? So, yeah, we're talking about, I think Discord's going to be the main go-to full stop for the whole of RedFOX Labs.
There's a question here regarding moving vacant pools to other common or uncommon. The answer is no. I've answered this the last week as well. So if you want those pools, you go for it. We will not be giving handouts to common or uncommon if those pools are not filled. People have been talking about scarcity, and I think this is scarcity in play.
Can you share any mitigating strategies being put into place in prep for public launch? If AIM is still 50 to 100,000 users, approximately 350 beta testers seems small, especially if testing for scalability network overload.
Well, the main intent for closed beta was to figure out all the bugs that we have in the game itself. Open beta is when we really scale, and that's when we see a lot of numbers. I mean, we were able to get the data with the 5,000 people that we onboarded for the game itself, especially related to the login system with our partner. So we're going back and forth with our partner to make sure that that experience is smooth. And then for open beta, that's when we really scale. Nobody scales in closed beta. So if you're familiar with game development cycles, closed beta is when we figure out all the initial bugs and build the foundation properly. And then open beta is when you scale and watch the performance of our server architecture and user experience when we reach a high number of concurrent players.
Any roadblocks with RFOX ID? the RFOX ID, we've just tried to smooth a few things out, but RFOX ID is important ecosystem wide. So it's more about how to also implement that into the other businesses, because RFOX ID is not something that just gets used on games, it gets used on absolutely every venture. So after games, the next cab off the rank was for the media team, and that includes TV, so RFOX TV and media. So it's more a matter of making sure that it works and it can scale. As you know, we work with an external partner, and this would be for sure their biggest rollout as far as how many people this will service when the whole ecosystem has it. I'm still doing daily missions on CogSlam, and I still receive the coins I have earned. Will I still receive the coins I've earned after the 8th of October when Open Beta is released?
Fatis, I hope you're asking this question on behalf of somebody, because we've already told you very clearly that the snapshot was taken last week, and no coins earned after the 8th will be counted towards your transfer.
Evening, Benny. Enjoyed hearing from Dave tonight. Question regarding VFOX, which, if it's of any interest to you, I would elaborate on Telegram, as I've mentioned it there before to be done. Would you be open to reevaluating the current reward structure for the initial rollout of the Vault in regards to proceeds from the transactional volume? Gut feeling is that 1% won't be enough to incentivize people to buy, or equally importantly, keep holding VFOX when there are other less risk on dividend yield options available. I just feel the current structure won't be enough to justify holding for many of the community who will have bought over $2 around the farm launch, and furthermore won't entice new participants, especially, as I say, during the initial 6 months of the year to the Vault, when rewards will likely be small. So that's why we did stuff like the land sale. So already VFOX holders are being rewarded before the Vault's actually opened, and that's why the entire reason why we put that what is a relatively large percentage of the proceeds from the land sale into those rewards, so that VFOX holders had something until the volumes increase. But if you have a look at the projections through to the end of 2024, which we've published before, the numbers are quite big, and depending on our progress and the price of VFOX and all the rest of it, I don't think it will be too small at all. So the next couple of land sales and stuff are going to be important. So that's why it's important to get the ball rolling with the marketing and the new messaging, and making sure that we've got people coming in all of the doors of the ecosystem. So that's extremely important. So that's exactly why we've done the land sale payouts, OJ. There are play-to-earn games launching daily now, it seems. What approximate timetable do you have for the actual game launch after open beta?
We are going to release the roadmap this month, and you'll be able to see the timelines for all the different projects that are launching this year and approximately to mid of next year.
Hi, great Twitter chat. Do you see less interest for play-to-earn games during crypto winter season when token prices are down, or are those two not in connection? Thanks for the answer. I think, George74, I think as the market matures more, we're going to see go back a couple, what was it, 2018? We started to see a little bit of decoupling between tokens when stable coins came into play. And I think what we have seen is a little bit of a separation between NFTs and tokens. And people say, well, NFTs aren't tokens. Yes, they are. But the thing is that there is definitely a little bit of decoupling there as well. And I feel as though gaming is not something that will remain as closely tied as it is now to the current conditions. I think as time goes on, it will be less impacted, very much so. Any plans to keep Koggers busy after staking? Because we all know staking is going to be so silent.
I guess the next activity is definitely open beta, so there will be a gap. What we want to make sure, like I said before, if there is a gap, we'll find a way to do community events. But our focal point is essentially coming out with open beta as soon as possible. That's what the team is working on.
Yeah, as stated, I think there's some things being worked on now to try and also bring some interest. What's the best way to choob my cogs to see what full collections I have and choob them? Which site do you think? Are you talking about any site or tool in particular?
NFThive.
Yeah, NFThive's they've actually come quite a long way in a short period of time, haven't they?
Yeah, it's spectacular for finishing your sets. You can select buy all the ones you're missing at cheapest price.
It's really, really good how they've done that. They've capitalized on a few glaringly obvious holes that were not being filled in some of the other marketplaces and some of the other sites. Another one for you, Fadz. Question for Fadz. I know you don't want to give exact date for open beta, but is it still realistic to go open beta in the last week of October?
Well, like I said, we will update next week when we release the roadmap. If we are going to face delays, we will announce them. But as of now, I think we are still in the testing phase for some of the critical elements that have not been put into place yet.
Any thoughts of Infinity coming into the space to try and take market share from Opensea? Will ETH assets be listed on the new platform as well? So the new stuff that we're building, the new platforms that we're building, agnostic. So we've finished the ETH integration into the, what's the word we use? Is it aggregation or abstraction? Aggregation.
Aggregation is what I call it. Abstraction is what everybody else in the world calls it. So I guess we go with abstraction.
All right. So ETH's built into the abstraction layer, and now Wax is being built in, and October 22 is the date that we'll sort of take over from the external agencies and start to continue down our trajectory with internal dedicated teams to making sure that we've got both a product that services the shops in the metaverse and also to the external clients looking to release collections, and the ability to be able to integrate new chains will be there, but that is now going to be it's going to be a matter of what integration is required. So layer 2 and EVM will be quite simplistic to integrate, and then some of the other chains will be more complex depending on what tech they use. Gosh, that picture drives me nuts. That's a very disturbing picture, isn't it? AMA, it's been on for 40 minutes and Pete has not yet mute you. The reason I'm not so tempted to just blurt or give something away or to is because we're so close now that I don't have to say anything. We just have to wait a bit. Anything new to say about the all-important streamer app? Face, so the thing is that we've got a logical flow, and as Fad said before, we're bringing out roadmaps for the entire business and how it all clicks together. And there's a logical flow for everything. So I think that's going to really help people visualize what comes next and how it comes next, because TV is important, and then the plugging in of the RFOX ID is important. So there's some underpinning infrastructure that has to pull everything together. So once you see that, actually one of the things that I did like about one of the projects that we looked at that has very slick marketing and messaging is they do a roadmap that basically says 1, this thing, 2, then this thing, 3, then this thing. I was like, where's the dates? Where's their deliverable timeline? And they basically have they just basically communicate to the point that they're up to on the roadmap, and then say when this is finished, that's when we start this thing. And I was thinking, interesting. It'll be very interesting to see if other people follow. Is RedFOX Labs still good for money? I see that a multi-million-dollar money pit at the moment in terms of employees and expenditure with almost no revenue coming in yet. Will RedFOX look to raise money, or is there enough bankroll for the next 12 months already? So I don't know why it looks like that. We wouldn't be putting on a ton of people if there was no revenue coming in or no funding to cover the people. That wouldn't make any sense. So we are talking to outside parties and investors, but that is much more for network and opening up doors for us than it is for just a straight capital injection or anything like that. But if people can help open doorways for us or open doors or help us to get to where we need to get to faster, then we definitely look at that for sure. So it is definitely not a money pit.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I think not a lot of people know that even though the team is quite small and we're not really that big in the ecosystem yet, RFOX Games is already a profitable company. So it's just a matter for us to scale with this kind of results or performance, and that's when the real money will come in.
And that's what we're working on now. Is the really important thing is to make sure that everything is balanced, right? Because you don't want to have a situation where everything is just you've seen it before in the wax ecosystem, especially when you've got these new companies that just pop up out of nowhere and they've got these NFTs, and then out comes this game straight away, and then comes this token, and then it's just like a money printing machine that just plays out token, and it's great for like 2 days or 3 days, and then it's just like bang, tokens. So the thing is, you've got to really just balance as well. You've got to make sure that there's people coming in the other side, and there's people investing in there, and there's a whole financial model at play that allows early investors or people that are scrupulous investors to be able to sort of make wise decisions. And you've also got to make it so that you've got people coming in that can have very low barriers to entry to be able to also participate and earn as well. When do we get a chance to interact with Miss RFOX? So a slam challenge, hey? I think, I don't know what I can say in relation to that. I think that, we've been talking to a number of the different contestants about what we could do going forwards. I think at this stage, I think it's fair to say that some of those people are a lot less approachable or harder to get to than others, because they all, for the first time, I think we mentioned this previously, for the first time this year, it was mandatory that all of the contestants have managers and agencies look after them and all the rest of it. So there's a whole process to go through. Not like the good old days when you could just go tap people on the shoulder, but we're getting there with some of them for sure. By money pit, I just meant a company. Companies are expensive. Yeah, but we've got a very, we've survived through bear markets, and we've been building from bootstrapped we were started being bootstrapped. So the fact is that we always looked at making sure that we had models that could get to a point of revenue generation and profitability very quickly. So nothing's changed from that perspective, in the sense that it doesn't matter how much money you've got, you should always be looking at making sure that whatever you're building or deploying is has a clear pathway to profitability, or at least break even. So that's more a matter of having been around for a long time. We've got a lot of experience in the team in how to make sure that we're not just throwing money down a pit. We're building stuff that will add value, and as a result of that, I think we've made good decisions with that. Yes, but the first land sale gave very small reward to holders, 160,000 total between 21 million tokens. If the following proceeds remain the same, or even if it was to double, then rewards would be very small still. You talked about a plan to 2024. That's over 3 years away, a lifetime in crypto where anything can happen. Why would it be impossible to raise rewards to, say, 2% until the first, say, 200 mil of transaction volume has passed, drop it to 1.5 after 3? And that way everybody's winning. The thing is that, as stated, we've put a percentage of the land sale and proceeds to that to tide over and to make that up in the interim. The fact is, if we start rolling out some of these initiatives and get things going, it's all relative to price as well, right? Because ultimately, a percent is a percent. It doesn't change as far as the value is concerned. But if the value of the token, for example, of RFOX went up, then that completely changes the equation as well. So it's all relative. to what's coming in and how it's coming in. And the thing is, you know this space as well as everybody else. If you put that up to 2%, so we've already done it. We've already said 15% of revenue. Now you'd say, is that a good compromise? It's a massive compromise. And if anyone is looking at internally investing or whatever, they'd be saying, why are you giving away 15% of the revenue that could be used to build or could be used to market or could be used to do something else? But the fact is that we're trying to make sure that there is some sort of value until we get the system up and rocking and rolling. So, and if you give 2, people will say you should give 3. If you give 3, they'll say you should give 4. So the best thing that we can possibly do is make sure that the interest and the value is coming in, and therefore the percent remains the same. If there's more traction and the sales are higher, then inevitably the payouts are higher, which would also benefit. Just out of interest, what would the plan if you didn't hit all your projections? We will. Hi, Benny and Pete. In light of the approach by RFOX that the token is being put on the back burner and the crypto community is realizing this and leaving RFOX in noticeable numbers, can you give us a truthful answer as to where the RFOX token lies within the revamped marketing and within the ecosystem generally? The leaving of the crypto community is very apparent in the price chart and in the fact that no direct crypto community marketing or interviews have been done in the last few months. Would you say RFOX token is set up well for any potential Bitcoin run that may be coming? So token is being put on the back burner, not true. If that was the case, if we just said we don't care about the token, as stated previously and many times before, we have development funds come through every month as far as token is concerned. If we weren't putting any attention on the token at all, or if we didn't care about the token, then we'd just be hurting ourselves as well. That's why the system's designed the way it's designed, is that if one benefits, we all benefit. If one hurts, we all hurt. So the fact is that we have a vested interest in trying to make sure that we are doing stuff to fix that. And as we said on the Twitter call tonight, that's exactly what we are doing. The crypto community is realizing this and leaving RFOX in noticeable numbers. Our wallet numbers are going up every week. The price is definitely has been going down for sure, but we've got more people coming in than we have going in. The leaving of the crypto community is very apparent in the price chart. Again, price chart is going down. The people leaving the crypto community is factually incorrect. The fact that no crypto community marketing or interviews have been done in the last few months. We've done, I don't know how many interviews in the last few months. You mean you're talking about like killing YouTube channels? We haven't done any of those, but we've been doing AMAs, conferences, panels, blockchain events, government events, tons of stuff. But they're in this region. So if you're not in this region, you probably don't see a lot of it. So increase the taxes on the shop owners before they get in the door. Doesn't seem like a good way to attract big time. No, it doesn't make much sense. The truth of the matter is we just got to get the value of the token up, and we've got to make sure that there's, and then like I say, a percentage is a percentage, and then it gets paid out. In relation to VFOX for staking it for 3 months, was it not possible to stake RFOX for that amount of time to receive revenue from shop sales because you were still working to receive rewards? This may have helped mitigate the dilution VFOX farmed had on RFOX price. It was mistaken thinking we would have snapshots and be able to claim our rewards with VFOX. This may have been my fault in assuming. So what we were saying was that depending on where you are in the world as well, the reward system and structure, and we have to make sure that because we're actually passing on a percentage of revenue or transactional volumes that are coming through, we have to make sure that the token is not considered a security. There has to be some sort of work done to receive the reward so that it doesn't constitute being a dividend in any way, shape or form. So the reason it's done like that is because there's 2 models that you can really deploy legally, and they are like a subscription-based model. So you'd have to pay like a subscription fee, or you can do like a staking and farming pool. They're the two real options. would you think from 500, I'd have some finished collections? Yeah, I think the biggest thing we came across with Kogs completed collections was that people didn't understand that you couldn't have one Kog count in 2 sets. So a lot of people actually put a tube together and then realised, hang on a second, I'm missing one from my other set. Where did it go? And the fact of the matter is, it was actually one Kog being classed in 2 sets. I'll trade with you to help you get a tube close to me. I have 11 tubes I bought a while ago, staked them. Hoped I'd have some finished ones also. Would do, but it's so freaking hard for me to know what I need. It's time consuming. Yeah, BGH, I think it's definitely worth spending a little bit of time to get your head around NFThive and how that actually all works, because their system at least makes things a lot easier. Back in the old day, remember back in the beginning, Pete, it was just an Excel spreadsheet.
Always an Excel spreadsheet.
It's easier just to sell them an instant buy for a collector after that. Will you trade your Aquamarine 13 foils, Benny, or are you in love with them? If it's a one of one, I'm probably in love with it. There's no doubt about that. How do you predict prices per shop in coming land sales due to the new marketing plan and Dave talked about? So George 74, obviously if it's an auction system, you can't really have any understanding. It depends on market conditions and it depends on levels of interest and all the rest of it, obviously. But all we can do is possibly have some rough guideline or idea in our head. But I think that the people that we're introducing into the vault should give other investors a lot of confidence. But ultimately, something's worth what a person's prepared to pay for it. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes forward. But ultimately, the momentum will only increase towards the fourth quarter sale for sure, because of the fact that bigger players do come in or partners come in, and that traction inevitably comes from that. So it's a matter of just waiting and seeing how people play out or how it reacts.
Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate the value of the Kogs they're holding because they haven't gotten around to completing sets yet. So one of the strategies I've seen happening over the past week is people actually selling the Kogs that they have and basically earning wax enough to buy and complete their sets. And the other one is the people who are actively trading to complete their sets itself. So if you really want to complete a tube, it's not just brute force buying packs non-stop until you finally are able to get a tube. It's also a combination of being able to trade with people, make friends on Discord, and just scoop up really good deals that are happening on the market right now. So it will take a bit of effort for you to get a tube in some cases, but in most cases, I think it's quite straightforward. There are people in our community, for example, collecting a set like lands and taking anywhere from 6 months or more to be able to find those Kogs in the market and be able to complete the sets. So it is really clear this time around that we're rewarding the effort of people who spend a lot of time to complete tubes and be rewarded accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. Can you track? Sorry, has there been any more shop owners come forward in the last week? Not really come forward in the last week, but as stated, we've still got a number of people to introduce you to and announce. So as far as anyone new in the last week, not that I can think of, just the same ones in a queue. We're aiming for new users, but the money driving crypto in general are crypto native, and we're trying to hit that market or still focusing on SEA. It's a great question, TKL. We've part of the new marketing strategy is to definitely, as we were saying on the Twitter AMA prior, is to definitely hit that crypto native market as well, because not only is that an easier path of adoption for this particular phase that we're going through, but also a lot of those people are the innovators, because they're the ones building stuff and they get what we're trying to do. So, but having said that, a lot of those people do reside in SEA as well. If you're unaware, Vietnam is now the #1 country in the world for crypto adoption, and this area is exploding for crypto. When will Scott Bolton be coming on for an AMA? I don't know, Artes. He definitely does want to do some public stuff and definitely wants to do lots of education. And you just ask him a simple question about space, and he goes into a spiel, and it's just fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
I did that.
I hope
One question.
you what?
No, I did that in our call. I think a few weeks ago. I asked him one question, and he just went on. Love it.
Okay, so we're out of time. So thank you very much. Oh yeah, George, you came to both, did you? Yeah, it's been a very, very long day of busy meetings, but I actually really enjoy these meetings every week. I look forward to it. People might think it's a bit of some tough questions and grilling and all the rest of it, but nothing that we're not aware of. We understand all of this stuff and we're working on it. So I think it's good to interact with you guys because we're quite often surrounded by 4 walls and a computer. So it's awesome to be able to interact with you guys and be a bit human. Thank you very much. Do you ever get compliments or questions about your RFOX tattoo? Compliments or questions? I had a few people in the beginning say I kept those comments. There was comments, not compliments. I had a few people saying, "Oh, how are you going to get rid of that in 2 months?" And stuff like that. So I think most people, the compliments or questions are more in relation to the conviction that we have if you're prepared to do that. But the most common comment I get is, "You can never do a rebrand of your logo." And I say, "We can, just can't do a rebrand of my arm." No problems, guys. Thank you so much for your time as well. I really appreciate the fact that you come on here and you